Hey everyone, and welcome to my first ever client makeup tutorial. I'm going to show you guys how I created this look on my beautiful client Jazz. A real essential product I love to use on my client's skin unless they are super oily is the MAC Strobe cream. This is just going to help hydrate and create a little bit of a luminosity before I lay down her foundation later on. And now I'm going to be starting off with her eyes just to save any fallout from the eyeshadow because we are going quite smoky. I'm going to be using the Pro Longwear concealer by MAC, and this is one of my favorite concealers. I find you get a really super coverage and you don't get a lot of creasing. So I'm going to be working it from this Sweet Peach palette from Too Faced today. From the palette I'm going to be using the shade White Peach. This is a really nice white matte ivory shadow that I'm going to place onto her lids to set her concealer. From the palette I'm going to be using this colour here called Puree. This is going to be the main diffusing colour. It's a really nice light warm matte shadow. I'm going to be placing that into a crease and blending it back and forth. So this is a lot of the major work when it comes to the eye. I'm just going to be consistently blending this shadow back and forth for quite some time. I'm really trying to build up the depth, and I always have a tendency of just putting a little bit of shadow on the brush. That way I can just slowly build up the shape and depth that I desire instead of trying to whip a whole lot of shadow onto my brush and going in too hard too fast. So it's all about being patient and building it up slowly. One of my most essential brushes is definitely a big fluffy brush to blend out the edgings of a smoky eye. It just gives that really nice blended seamless look. I have such an obsession with this eyeshadow. This is called Run Glaze. Unfortunately, it is only limited edition by Lancome, but I'm sure you can find similar dupes online. But it's this beautiful rose gold pink that I love to use on brides and bridesmaids. So I've just wet the tip of my brush with Fix Plus Spray, and then I'm going to apply it to the center of the eyelids, and this is also going to be cutting out a bit of a crease into her eyes. Once I've laid that down, I'm going to use the brush that I used earlier on to blend out that Puree colour from the Sweet Peach palette, and I'm going to be blending the edges of the corner of her eyes into that Run Glaze eyeshadow so it blends really nicely. Now I'm going to be doing a liquid wing liner on Jazz, and I'm going to be using the Pretty Easy liquid liner by Clinique. A must have product, guys. I'm not even kidding. This is like one of my holy grail products. It's right up there in my top 3 must-have products. Like, I'm just so obsessed with it on myself, but also my clients. It's so easy to use. And then I'm going to be using a angle brush just to blend it out with an eyeshadow, just so it gives a little bit more of a smokier look. With a disposable wand, I'm placing mascara on her top lashes, and then to wipe up any excess fallout from her eyeshadow, I'm going to be using the Pep Start Wipes by Clinique. To prep her skin with a primer, I'm going to be using the Illuminating by Estee Lauder. Jazz is a dry combination skin type, and I'm going to be using a full coverage matte foundation, so I just like to have a little bit of extra luminosity under the base of her foundation. Now I'm laying down her eyelashes. These are the Alessandras by Glameyes. The foundation I'm using on Jazz today is Estee Lauder's Doublewear in the colour Desert Beige, and I'm applying it with a flat kabuki brush. I just find I get more of a fuller coverage with a brush, and then I go over top of it with a wet beauty blender to give more of a seamless airbrush finish. Now to conceal under her eyes, I'm going to be going back with the Pro Long Concealer by MAC. I'm going to be using a fine detailed concealer brush, applying that under her eyes, down towards her nostrils, and then using a wet beauty blender again to seamlessly blend it all together into the foundation. Now to set everything into place, I'm going to be using the Dermablend Translucent Powder. Honestly, I'm so loving this powder at the moment. I've only had it for a month or so, but it's definitely by far the most amazing powder I've ever worked with for a client, so I highly recommend it. To bronze her skin, I'm going to be using the MAC Cosmetics Caitlyn Jenner collaboration bronzer, and I'm going to be applying that around her cheeks, her temple, and a little bit through her nose area. Jazz and I talked so much shit during this tutorial. Like you can see, we just went the whole time. I'm pretty sure we just covered everything from first world problems to the Kardashians. I'm pretty sure I used a Laguna bronzer by NARS just to do a little bit of contouring into the hollows of her cheeks. To add colour to her cheeks, I'm going to be using this MAC blush in the colour Frankley Scarlet, and I'm going to be applying it to the apples of her cheeks and elongating it upwards to give an oh my goodness, an uplifted look to her face. Before I lay down her highlighter, I'm going to be diffusing the powders that we've laid down with Fix Plus Spray by MAC, and then I'm going to be laying down her highlighter, which is the Extra Dimension Skin Finish Illuminator in the colour Beaming Blush. I'm going to apply this on the tops of her cheekbones, on the tip of her nose, and her cupid's bow. To groom her brows into place, I'm going to be using the Bravo Conditioning Primer by Benefit. I'm just going to place that through her brows, and then to shape them into place, I'm going to be using my YSL Brow Palette, and I'm going to be using a angle brush just to apply it and really focus on her arches and the tails of her brows, because she's got really nice shaped brows anyways. It's just a matter of filling them in and giving them a bit more depth and shape. Now to complete the lower part of her eye, I'm going to be going back with that colour Puree from the Sweet Peach palette, and with a cotton pad I'm just going to place it under her eye just to save any fallout from falling onto her foundation, using a fine detailed brush and softly blending it out. To add some eyeliner to her lower waterline, I'm going to be using the Graphic Eyeliner by MAC. I'm going to place it into her waterline halfway into the inner corner of her eye, and then I'm going to be blending it out with the brush from earlier on. Again, with a disposable wand, I'm going to be placing mascara on her bottom lashes. Now for her lips, I'm going to be using the Pure Colour Envy lipstick by Estee Lauder in the colour Nude Cult 125, and then I'm going to lay down a nude lip liner by Gerard Cosmetics before I lay down that lipstick with a brush, and then I'm going to be placing a gloss over top just to give a little bit more of a fresh plumped look to her lips. Pretty sure this one is called Vinyl Rose, and this is by Estee Lauder, and it's this beautiful light pink gloss. And then again with my Fix Plus spray, I'm just going to be spritzing over her face just to diffuse any excess powders. So there you go guys, there is my first ever client makeup tutorial. I really hope you guys have enjoyed this look and this whole new concept that I'm taking on my channel. If you did, don't forget to give it a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe to see more videos like this. Have a lovely day guys, see ya!